Hello. Hi, hey, there we go. Excuse me. What's up, everybody? My name is Brian Morrison. I'm a software developer out of Chicago, Illinois. I usually do a live stream every Thursdays right around this time, release new software development content every week. Doing something really different today. So yesterday, one of the things that I did kind of for my own process is I built a small CLI tool with Golang. Golang's been something I've wanted to pick up for a while, or just Go. I don't know how most people refer to it, so I'm gonna go back and forth. But anyway, the tool's called Templify, open source CLI tool. It's hosted on my GitHub. If you go to my GitHub, bmorrisondev/templify, Templify, you will get access to the tool. There's already a Windows-based executable that's set there for a release, and I'm hoping today I can figure out how to get GitHub Actions to deploy out the binaries for both Mac and Linux too. What the tool does is it downloads basically as an archived version of any repository, any public repository at this point on GitHub, saves it to your computer, and reinitializes the repository as something new. So the idea being you can use any existing GitHub project as a template for whatever you want to build. If someone has some code you like, and if you don't want to fork it, but you just want to quickly clone it down to your computer as something entirely new, it's a great way to do it. My specific use case is I have a couple of template repositories that I use for building things like APIs, and I wanted to make it easier for me to quickly just create a new project based off of that template that I've created. Not to mention, if I update that template, any new time I use this tool to generate out a new repository, it automatically pulls out the new changes. So I thought it was pretty cool. I'm kind of excited about it, but there's definitely some room for improvement. The main things I'm going to do today, I've got 3 goals on my list, and I've only got about an hour before I have to duck out of here. But I'd like to get a little bit better of some error correction or error handling in it, because I wrote it together real quick and just published it because it worked, but there's definitely some areas where it can improve. I'd also like to get it so this way you can select a specific branch as opposed to just the default branch. So we're going to try and play around with the flags package in Go, so that's going to be fun. And then the last thing, if we get time for it, we're going to try and create a GitHub action that builds it for all 3 main environments, Windows, Linux, and Mac, and then deploys it out into a different release every time I basically trigger the action. So yeah, let me get set up here real quick. Go to my coding environment. Too much stuff open right now, as always. Okay, and let's get to it. So here's the code so far. Just to kind of walk through the main process, what this guy does. I can zoom in a little bit more here. All this stuff here is basically parsing out what's coming in, because the syntax for using this is you can do the name of the executable, which is just Templify, and then you can paste in a GitHub link like this, and then you can optionally also specify a source directory, which that's what this guy is, all the way to the right hand side. So Fauna Service is another open source tool that I created on my GitHub profile. And something in this case would be just I'm going to move the mic a little bit away. Yeah, there we go. Something would be just the folder it gets cloned into. So you'll see if I hit enter, a new folder is going to appear on the left-hand side called something. If I hit enter, there we go. And then inside of it is the source code for that Fauna service. And again, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it doesn't do anything super complicated, but what I'd like the things I'd like to do in the future is actually add authentication to this, so I can do it with different, I guess, source control platforms like Azure DevOps or GitLab, and then also again, with the authentication, you'll be able to sign into those different platforms so you can access private repositories. So if you have private templates, one of the major use cases I could see this is at work. We build something called translators quite often, and if we had a single template that we just pull down, edit what we need to, and then be done with it, I think that would be really helpful. So that's also kind of where this was inspired from. Okay, so I'm going to close that, and we're just going to kind of review over the code. So all this code here kind of splits out the URL. I've got the very basic, what, whether you're saying you need to provide a GitHub URL, and then I'm parsing those out. The next thing we do is I wrote this function which uses the GitHub API to get whatever the main branch is. So that's all this code here. You can see we're hitting api.github.com/repos and the username and repo name, and it's pulling that down and it's parsing it into this GitHub response object, which is a type inside of Go. I'm still learning Go, so forgive me if my terms are not 100% accurate. But the default branch is the JSON key where that that default branch is specified, so that's where I'm pulling that from. Let's see what else we got here. This little check function, all this does is if there is an error, it'll execute, or it'll bomb out of the program, but if not, it'll keep going. This I found on a website. That was a pretty neat little trick, just to kind of simplify down some of the code. Here we're making a folder called Templify temp in whatever the current working directory is. Then we're going to go ahead and download the file. I did not write this function. I found this on the internet. We're going to download the archived version of that folder. So if I go to GitHub, if I go to, I got to get Chrome open here. Morrison Dev, Fauna Service. We'll go right to that one, this guy here. So if I click on this code button here, you'll see I have the option to clone the repository, but I also have this download zip folder, and this is actually what it's doing. All the code is really doing is it's crafting the URL. Like if I go ahead and copy the link address, and let's go ahead and open, I guess I could do this in VS Code. If I paste this in here, you can see this is the actual address to download that zip folder. So all I'm doing is really building this with this code here. So we're downloading that zip folder. We're going to unzip it into a directory. We're reading the directory basically to pull out whatever the name of the directory is that's inside of there. It doesn't actually, it's not one for one with the name of the repository. It's repository-branch, which I probably could do manually using the branch name, but this is what I'm doing right now. And the next thing is we're going to move that folder into whatever the current working directory is. So from the .templify temp into the working directory, and then we're going to remove that temp directory. And the last thing we need to do is initialize the repo. So the one kind of main thing I wanted to do as far as error correcting is this initialize repo. So I don't have currently a way to check if Git is installed on the machine. So that's, I guess, kind of what we're going to play around with today. So I'm going to create a new file here. And we'll say like temp.go, because I don't want to package main, I guess. I don't want to edit my main.go since that is kind of in a working state. So I'm going to create a temp.go file so we can kind of play around with this. So I'm going to have to open up this side by side because, again, Go is not my primary language. I'm still kind of learning it. So func main. Yeah, go ahead and install whatever. This environment is new to developing in Go. I built this in a different computer, so there's still some modules and things that aren't quite installed yet. And I'm just going to do a fmt.println, which is the same thing as like console.log and JavaScript. Println, we'll say hello world. And this is basically just a test to see if this is going to work. Let's see, go run. Whoop. So now inside of this. Why are we yelling at me? Save this. It doesn't auto import. I'm missing some plugin that's not importing the dependencies automatically. So I'll type this in manually. T like that. And what does this do? Main redeclared. Can I just name this temp as to make it a different package? Found packages in. I don't know. Let's see if this is going to work. Go run temp. Go run temp. Cannot run non-main package. Okay, so it doesn't seem to like that, and I don't know why. This is one of those little nuances with Go that I'm kind of unfamiliar with. So I'm going to create a new folder. Let's see if it'll let me do this. Temp. And we'll move temp into here. And cannot run non-main package. Maybe this doesn't need to be main, like that. Let's cd into temp, and then same thing, run that again. Okay, I got hello world, so this is enough for us to kind of work with. All right, so I have this initialize repo, and it's using some code that's basically checking to see if this path exists. So what I'm going to do inside of here is I'm going to copy over this exec.look path, and I need to get these plugins installed. Go disable uninstall. Let me try restarting VS Code. See if maybe that's part of the issue here. If not, we'll just import exec manually. Unless this Gopals, maybe Gopals is the the one that's causing this issue. Let's just go ahead and move that over manually. Okay, so FMT is not being used, but we will. Let's say, let's just rename this to bin, and I'm going to name, we're going to, let's see, fmt.println. I'm just going to pass bin in here. I want to see what this does. Okay, and let's do go run, let's cd temp. Okay, so this actually does get the working directory. So I want to see what happens if I put like go to, like what, see if that gets found. Okay, so it parses it to an empty string, so which is cool actually, because now I can do, now I can create a function like a func check is get installed. And I'm going to move some of this over here. So we're going to look for the path, and if it's not installed, this is actually going to return a Boolean. So bool looks like that's the type we're going to return. So we'll say if bin is double equal to, I guess, a blank string, return false, and I guess else will do return true. I like going the opposite way here. Let's move this guy around so we can return true only in that specific condition where the binary path is not an empty string. And I also actually want to do something one more time in our little testing file here. We're going to say if bin double equals to blank string, we'll say fmt.println. Let's see, exists, or I guess not exists, else fmt.println exists. This might be some of my JavaScript coming out where I have to check for conditions like this because, you know, in JavaScript there's that whole interpolation thing, so it's, or interpolation? That's not the right term. Exists, so that's get. I know get exists. Not exists. Okay, so it is a blank string. Yeah, with JavaScript, there's that whole, it kind of tries to infer different types within each other, and I don't know how Go handles that, so I guess I'm trying to be a little explicit. So if this is not equal to an empty string, if bin path is not equal to an empty string, we're kind of confident that gets installed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare a new variable up on top here and say var is get installed. And we're going to set that equals to, I know the colon equals is how you kind of just tell Go that this is what I want it to be. This, I'm declaring the type in line right here, right? So if I say false, actually I don't even need to do that. I could do is get installed, and we'll just call our function here, I guess. Check is get installed, so that'll return out right there. See, why are you not complaining? All right, so that's like that. I'm going to move this actually down below here, and then we'll say if is get installed equal to false, we're going to fmt.println. Let's see, get is not installed. I would say get not found. Repository will not be initialized. Okay. I like that. I think that's good. And last thing we need to do down here, you could say if is get installed, then we'll execute. Then we'll execute this guy right here. Okay, so this is our first. This is, I guess, our first fix. We're handling that potential case where Git is not installed. So I'm going to make a commit here now. We're also going to exclude everything in the temp file. So on my git ignore, I'm going to do temp that, and that should exclude those. Okay, cool. So let's say added check to see if Git is installed, and go ahead and commit that. So there's our first task kind of done. The next thing I want to do, and this one's going to be a little bit more of a journey, is learning how to use the flags, I guess, module. I'm totally unfamiliar with that, but I was doing some research earlier. Go flags module, I guess example is what we're looking for. And with the go flags example or module seems to imply that we can do is we're able to pass in flags through the actual command that we're executing, and we can create parameters based off of that to do different things. So right now, all I'm doing inside of this, so we can close this, I don't need that anymore. Right now, what I'm doing inside of here is I'm just checking the arguments as an array and looping through them and kind of assuming they're in a specific position. And I don't really want to do that. What I'd really like to do is let people use these kinds of flags here, where you can pass in hyphen and then whatever the name of the flag is and then whatever your actual value is. So yeah, let's go ahead and have some fun with this. So we're going to stick with intent for now, just so I can kind of get a feel for how this package works. Let's see here. So let's define some flags here. I don't want to... I'm going to comment all this out so we can just kind of keep it handy. It's usually how I work when I'm playing around with code like this. And we'll say, I'm actually going to copy all this in here too. We're going to put this down below and just comment it out and see. Oh, geez. That's not fun. There we go. That helps. I'm going to comment this out so we can kind of see what's going on. So the flags that I'm really interested in are... Let's see, we'll do branch, so people can select the branch. We'll do output, so people can select the output. See, let this be branch name, output directory. And what else? We'll eventually get into tokens and stuff, but I think these two, at least for now, is probably going to suffice for what we want to do. Fighter Club, how are you today? Thanks for stopping by, I appreciate it. Okay, so let's start defining some of our flags we got here. I'm going to bring in... These are both going to be strings, so I'm just going to bring this up here. That's a word pointer, so we'll say branch flag pointer. I like branch flag pointer. And we'll say branch, and this will be... I don't know if that's an example or what. Let's look up flag.string. Or you know what? I wonder if IntelliSense will help me pick this out. Value and usage. Flag.string example. It's gonna bring you back to the same thing, isn't it? No, it's a little. I guess this is a little more in depth. See, define flags with string, bool, and int. Be n. If you look at the flag like that, I don't know if we're defining the flags here, or if we're trying to parse them or like set them manually or something like that. I don't know. Let's find out. I'm gonna go back to just Word, right? Like just the way it was before. So flag.parse looks like it's the next thing we're going to have to pull in here. I'm not sure what this here is doing, though. String bar. Svar bar. And what do we have going down here? Sorry for hopping back and forth. I have a tendency of doing that when I'm writing code, because I'm trying to switch from one spot to another, but I kind of sometimes don't realize that it's kind of all within the same application. Okay, so word foo. I guess let's just put this back up here, and I want to see what this does. T print line, and we can comment out that guy there. All right, let's try running this and see what happens. Run temp.go, word.foo. So if I put word equals something, I wonder if it's going to overwrite it. Oh, it did. Okay, cool. So that's a step in the right direction. But how do I... Headphones turned off. I don't know what's going on there. I wonder if this is because I'm setting a directory manually or something. I don't really want it to set it, though. I guess we could just leave this empty like that, right? Okay, so we can do something like branch name pointer, and we'll say branch. And let's go to and put this the name of the branch. the name of the branch to download, I guess. That would be good. And let's put this in here like that. So I guess we have to initialize it with some kind of default value. And then the next thing we want to do, let's duplicate that line. Control D on my keyboard is what duplicates the line. We'll say out pointer, and we'll say out, and that's still going to be empty. And we'll say the path of the output, I don't know, destination path of the project. Yeah, I think that works. So now let's duplicate this. We'll say branch, and we'll say out. I've really been enjoying working with Go. It's totally different. I like this. This is pretty cool, where it says, like, hey, if it doesn't have it in there. I wonder if I get rid of just all this altogether. What does it do? Okay, so it just does nothing. Okay, so here's kind of what I'm looking at. So the program, when it's run, we can do branch equals https:// GitHub, see www.github.com /bmorrisondev/fauna service. Out equals new project. And then, no, I lied. That's not what we want. We want to do... I don't even know if I have another branch on this guy. Let me find a different repository that I own that has a different branch in here. I guess I can create a branch. Create a branch. I don't want to mess with that one. Let's go to... I'm going to go to my fullstack.chat, which, if you're not familiar with that, is my fullstack chat FSC core. Fullstack.chat is my my Discord that I run. We got a bunch of developers in there. We all chat about stuff. It's a good time. And I don't even have any branches off this. Can I create a branch up in here? Or stale all branches? I guess I can't. FSC core. All right, let's do this. Let's go ahead and create a branch off of this. Open PowerShell window here. Git checkout. bdev. Cannot lock. Git checkout main. Is it master? Switch new branch develop. Okay, so git push set branch set upstream origin develop track set upstream 2. Hey Charles, yeah, no worries, man. I got somewhere to be this afternoon, so I decided to kick it off a little early, but thanks for stopping by. Set upstream 2. Okay, so... No, that's not what I want to do. Warning, not setting branch develop as its own... I have no idea what the hell I just did. Okay, get branch v. I'm sorry about this. I'm trying to figure out some git stuff. Okay, so we're on develop, so git remote v. Okay. So git branch. Set upstream 2. Not setting branch develop as its own upstream. Origin develop? Git push. Git push. Origin. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. I need to find something that's got a branch on it. Or I guess I could open it in VS Code and do it the easy way. Let's do that. Disregard the code on screen, as we will be not using any of this stuff. Oh, that's why. So I have a bunch of stuff going on here. Oh, I'm not using this one. How about my to-do app? This is a good one. This should be a really easy one. There's not a whole lot of complexity here. I'm not doing anything with it. Okay, I don't even know that I have. Do I have an upstream on this one? Set, sign in using GitHub, allow, that's fine. Open. GitHub B. Morrison Dev, public to public. Yeah, create a repository. Okay, so now we have a repository. Let's go ahead and create a new branch here. We'll just say dev. And we're going to push this guy up too. So now if I go to github.com/bmorrisondev/my to-do app, which is the silliest name for a repository, I guess. Especially, I mean, mainly with the number of repositories that I have. Okay, so I've got two branches on here. We got master and dev. Cool. I like that. This is going to set us in the right direction. Okay, so I don't care about that anymore, and I don't want that open. So now let's update this. So our branch will be dev. So the format is the name of the executable, branch equals dev, out equals new project, and then we'll put the name of the actual GitHub URL. So http://www.github.com bmorrisondev/my to-do app. Can you get more generic? Okay, so it did parse in the branches dev, out is that, and I think there is a way. How do I get the... I think tail is the name of whatever comes afterwards. Tail? Where's that example here? Flag.args. There we go. Yeah, so args is what comes afterwards. Okay, cool. This will work good. Okay, let's go back into main Go and we'll start playing around with this. Okay, so we've got that check if Git's installed. Let's go ahead and we're basically going to replace a lot of this stuff here. So I'm gonna put this over to the right hand side so I have it as a reference. Let's see, still got a half hour. We're making good time on this. I feel. Alright, so I'm going to copy this stuff in here because this is exactly what we're interested in. And let's see, branch name pointer, flag. Let's go ahead and import flag up here. Save that. And flag.parse. Okay, so repo URL equals, I'll say args. Flag.args. We probably should do this in its own thing. So we'll say tail is equal to flag.args, and this is going to parse out everything that comes after the specific flags that we're setting here. Okay, so this is we can say if flag.if tail, I think len is what we're using. Just find the length of the array, tail, double equal to 0. Now we'll do this whole logic of you need to provide something, otherwise we're not going to entertain you. So fmt.println, a GitHub URL must be specified. And then let's return this. All right, so this basically handles that error logic. So this way, if we don't pass that URL in, it's going to basically just bomb out of the application, which is fine. Repo URL equals, at least I think that's how that works, equals tail 0, because that should be the only one that's put in there. I probably will need to add, I'm going to say also to do add validation. Add extra validation to this. Because I want to come back and I actually want to do that. Repo URL, this all is fine. So this splits up. This splits up the username and everything from the repository, so I need all that. All right, so that takes care of that. So branch name pointer, what is that? That's a string, yeah. So I don't even really need to do that. So we can say if branch name is defined up here. We can get rid of this stuff, which is checking the DST path equals repo name. I don't think we need that, though, but we could do if out double equals that, not equals that. Why are we complaining here? Cannot convert untyped string constant to string. Okay. Let's look up that error and find out what's going on there. Cannot convert untyped constant to string. Well, we got a hit right away, so that was pretty nice. Working with constants. I'm going to double check the Stack Overflow question, see if this makes a little more sense once I actually read through instead of just scanning it and not doing anything. Utils.stringpointer. Basically, we have to, whatever type that's coming in, we've got to convert it. You can't get the address of a string if you have a string local variable. Let's check this library here. Func print string. So that returns a pointer to the past string. I guess I want to convert a pointer to a string. That's probably what I'm looking to do. Go convert pointer to string. How to convert a string pointer to string? Easy enough. Dereference the pointer. And this goes to show that I'm not really familiar with this style of programming, which I'd like to get better at. Alright, so we've got branch name. I guess we do need to do PTR, and then we need to do PTR out pointer. So we can do branch name. And it was an ampersand? No, star. Star branch name pointer. And then we'll also do out is equal to out pointer. I suppose I probably could also. I wonder if this will work too. Like that. Just do it right in line. I guess no, it probably doesn't. It probably would make more sense just to do it like that, just because we're going to use these values essentially. DST path equals out, otherwise DST path equals repo name. Okay, so that should take care of the destination path. And now here we can do if branch name is not equal to 0, that guy, then actually I lied. I don't think we need to do that. We could just say if branch name is double equal to string, an empty string, then we can do that. And then we'll pass this in here. Branch name declared but not used in compiler. It is. Gotta do that. Initialize that as a new guy. Branch name declared but not used. I want to set that though. We could do main branch name, I guess. Like that, and if this, then we'll do branch name equals to main branch name. Will that work? That looks like that works. Okay, so the logic as it goes here with the new updates here is what we're doing is, I don't think I need this here anymore. None of the default OS args. So the first thing we're doing is, if there's nothing at the end of the URL, then we know we need a GitHub. I'm so used to looking over on this side of my screen from my old stream, and now I have my second screen over here finally, that I keep looking over here to talk to the camera, but the camera's over here. Anyway, so we've got, with our new updated logic, first we're checking the tail, so basically whatever comes after us. If I open this guy up, you can see tail is an array of strings, or I guess it's called something different in Go. It's not an array, I can't remember what it's called. But it's essentially an array as I understand it. So if that's empty, then we're just going to bomb out of the program. The next one we're checking is that output, like this flag here. If out is equal to empty, then I guess I could do this. I like, just to keep the logic consistent, If the out is equal to empty, then we're going to set it to whatever the repository name is here. Otherwise, we're going to set the destination path to out. And that's used down here for when it actually downloads or extracts the zip folder into wherever it's going to end up being. I think this is kind of done and working, so let's try it out. So again, for those of you who have joined in since, what this tool does is it lets you basically use any GitHub repository as a template for a project. The idea is instead of having a fork, if you don't want to fork a project or, you know, fork it and download it to your computer with all that extra stuff, it lets you the tool just downloads the zip folder version of whatever branch you're on, and then it'll extract it into whatever folder you want on your computer to kind of initialize your new project. Oh, and then Git will initialize it. So it's pretty cool for a small little single file CLI tool. So let's try this out. I'm going to cd back up into here. Let's clear this so we can get rid of that. And we'll say go run main, and then we want to do a branch. Let's leave the branch out for now. So we'll do out. I guess let's just test this from the beginning. So https://github.com. I gotta go www. github.com/bmorrisondev my to-do app. Hit enter. Okay, and you can see it actually copied it down. So the my to-do app, all the source folder from here is already inside here, right? So that takes care of that. Let's do rm. Whoops. I'll need to update the docs before we publish this too. And 12:40. I still got time. Haha, I still got time. Rm curse force, because this is PowerShell, and we'll do my to-do app. And now the next thing we want to test is we'll test this with a specific output branch, so or output directory. So out equals my new project, and hit enter. And this should clone it into a folder called my new project, which it didn't. So something's broken there. Let's try and debug that real quick. So let's fnt.println, and what is out? I would think based on this, it's an empty string, but let's try it. Access is denied. Oh, that's right, because I probably got to add logic to check to see if that folder exists first. All right, let's not CLI those. We'll just delete these manually. So we'll have to add a task to do that. Let's try it one more time. Okay, so out is still not coming in right, but why? Let's do out PTR. Let me see if maybe my logic to convert it to a string is not exactly what I wanted to. Undeclared variable name. PTR. No, it's not. It's right there. Oh, there we go. Misspelled. All right, let's delete that and try again. Okay, I messed something up because that's none of this is the way that I'm expecting it to be. Let's go back into our temp folder and look and see what we got here. Star out PTR. Okay, star out PTR. Let's try again. Okay, so setting like that doesn't seem to like that, which is really strange. I don't fully understand that, but I'm not going to argue with it. So we'll just replace those guys there, and let's see if this works now. I'm going to remove that because we've seen that already. And out's not used, so we can remove that. And let's try. Hey, Darkify, how are you? Thanks for stopping by today. We are building a open source CLI tool in Go that turns any GitHub repository into a project. Or, well, basically you could use GitHub repos as templates. All right, so that's been fixed. Let's try and run this again just to see if it works. I need to figure out how to do unit testing in Go. Okay, so there we go. It created a my new project as opposed to the original my to-do app. So that's working, and then I'm guessing, you know, we're gonna take the I'm gonna go ahead of this and look up where this branch name pointer needs to be replaced, which is right here. Branch name pointer. Else we'll still need branch name. Branch name equals that. All right, so let's declare an empty string. Var branch name string, like that, and I think that should take care of all of our issues. Okay, so let's try and run this one more time. So if I do out my new proj, we'll also do branch is dev. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it did my new proj, but I don't know. I actually don't have any idea to check to see what this is supposed to be. Refs head branch name. I guess we could also system.println the file URL. I'm sorry, not system. fmt.println. And file URL. Let's do like that. Save that, and let's try this one more time. Delete that. My to-do app. Yeah, so it downloaded dev.zip, not main.zip, which is what I would expect. You know, we probably could take this one step further, and let's see if we go. Let's open up my to-do app. We're in the dev branch, and let's just put in here and be like some new file.txt, right? So what we're doing, what I'm going to test here is I want to see if it does indeed download this completely separate branch. Test for Templify. I like being as explicit as possible when I'm testing these things, just to make sure that I don't make any, like, you know, silly assumptions. Okay, so what I should get now is we'll delete this, and let's try and run this one more time. I can get rid of the file URL since that doesn't really matter anymore. And let's run this again. I don't think I synced it up. That might make an issue. Yep, let's go ahead and sync it and try it again. Okay, dev has recent pushes. Good. Let's try the actual tool again. And I want to close this. I don't need that open anymore. Don't save. Okay, so delete this again. And if I go and run this, my new proj, interesting. Why doesn't it do that? Oh, maybe it's because I didn't put an equals. I put a dev afterwards. Delete. What does this guy look like? So we're in, let's refresh this. Okay, there's nothing there. If I switch to dev, here's my some new file. If I go to download this, let's look at what the URL is. Heads dev. So now my question is, what's going on here? Let's try and download this manually from GitHub and see what happens. Open up this guy, my to-do app dev, there's some new file. So it's definitely in the repository, but I don't know why this tool is not downloading it. Let's do that one more time. So we'll do fmt.println. I want to see what the value of that file URL is. File URL, save that and run this again. Okay, it downloaded that. Downloaded the zip folder. Oh, there we go. It's in there. I wonder if there was a delay between GitHub actually adding it into that zip folder. Which I guess kind of makes sense, but as long as it works, it works. All right. So what's next? I think we're going to go ahead and commit this. Oh, wait a second. I need to update the docs. So I'm going to delete this guy here. I don't need that anymore. And let's look at the documentation and say Templify. We're going to leave this as exe just because I want to. And we could say Templify. This will download. You can actually specify a different branch or directory. Templify, and we got to change this because that's not the syntax anymore. So it's going to be out, and it'll be some output folder. And I guess let's do the branch ahead of time. Branch dev. Create a folder. The contents of the source. Let's see. This says this will create a folder called some output folder with the contents of the source repo, specifically the dev branch. I probably, here, let's go back in here. I think this is okay for now. I do want to go back in here, and I want to add another to-do for myself in here. Let's see. So branch is coming in. I want to check to see if the branch exists, because if it doesn't exist, this thing's going to bomb out. If the branch exists here. Okay. I think this is sufficient for now. So let's go ahead and commit this. Updated flags to include out and branch. Save that, and let's put, I'm not going to push this up. Let's let's push this up. We can do all of the editing of our GitHub Action inside of GitHub itself, because they do have some pretty nice tools in there. So okay, everything should be put out. Let's create a new build of this thing. So go build is easy enough to do. And, well, you know what? No, because we're going to try and use the GitHub Action to create the release for us and upload those files, which we might not get to. I got about 10 minutes before I got to duck out of here and go take care of something. Personal business, personal matter, but that's how we go. All right, so let's go to Templify. By the way, if anyone is really interested in checking this out, that's the link to the repository. Dennis, how are you today? Thanks for stopping by. Apologize to everybody who's been here for a while, but what we've been doing is creating I've got a CLI tool that I built yesterday for work to turn any GitHub repository into a project template. All right, let's try and create that action. This is going to streamline us being able to push pull requests. I think pull requests is probably what I want to do. I don't want to do it on all pushes. Yeah, push this to main, and then I can put a gate around that, so this way you can't go to main without doing a pull request, which I guess in which case a pull request would be sufficient. And then let's also do, I think it's workflow dispatch, which lets us manually specify it. I'll double check that before we save this. I was kind of looking into this earlier, and I don't quite know the runs on, so I got to do GitHub Actions runs on Windows, because I want to do Windows first, because Windows is what I use, and I want to see what the syntax is for that. So Windows latest. I could do Windows latest. So runs on Windows latest. We're gonna set this up. Why is my scroll not working? I have to zoom out here a little bit. I don't think it likes being zoomed in, so this is gonna be a bit of a pain in the butt for everyone else to see. So we want to go build, and let's just do an ls right here, right? So I forgot how to do this. GitHub Action inline script. GitHub Action inline script. Nope, not that. Executing JavaScript inline. No, execute Azure CLI Actions. Inline bash probably is a little more specific. Inline bash script. Name, oh, it's run. Run's what we're at. Okay, so name, ls, and I don't think we need to do go build like that. We'll just go build v for verbosity. It should, I'm thinking we're probably going to be in the working directory already, and then we'll run, oh, look, it was run there already, ls. How about that? Right, so let's start this. Create go.yaml. Did I push all my changes? I don't need that repo open anymore. What's up, James? How are you? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, all my changes are pushed up already. Alright, so let's just go ahead and create go.yaml. Why not? So we'll commit it directly to the main branch, and shouldn't trigger automatically, but workflow dispatch does work because I've got this drop down here. Let's go ahead and run this. We're waiting for this, James. What I built yesterday is a tool that lets you turn any GitHub repository into a project template. I don't know that any exists, so I made one myself in Go. And we're trying to set up the GitHub Actions to automatically deploy new builds into release. And my headphones turned off again. I gotta fix this. Actually, you know what? You guys can't see this, but I've got a new audio setup here. It's I posted pictures to Twitter, but I got myself a 6-channel audio mixer. And when I finally get around to setting that thing up this weekend, it's going to make things a lot easier because I won't have to rely on Voicemeeter Potato, which I do like. Voicemeeter is an awesome tool, but it's software and it's not as reliable as hardware, so you kind of get some of the nuances that come with that. And yeah, I like new toys. So James says, doing good. Where can I get up YouTube? Oh yeah, YouTube API. That's fun. I've done a little bit with the YouTube API. I want to do more. I know I've mentioned before, I'm building a content management system. I've got a very interesting YouTube integration idea that I don't know is out there quite yet. It's gonna be fun. Okay, so here's templify.exe. I wonder if there's a way that I can specify the output folder. We'll do that another time, though. Whoops. Back. We're gonna go back into our actions. We're gonna play with this thing a little bit. Workflow file. Go's been fun. I've played around with it a little bit in the past, but this is the first actual utility I've tried building with it, and I quite enjoyed it. I think I spun this thing up in about an hour and a half yesterday, so I didn't think that was too bad. Let's see, release. There was an official one. Release. My GitHub. Drafts your next release notes as pull requests are merged into master. No, this isn't it. There was a GitHub act. There was an official one. GitHub Actions create release. Just actions/create release. Actions/create release. I wonder if this will return anything. No, it doesn't. Unless name create release, and then we'll say uses actions/create release. What's the version of that guy we've got here? V1? Is V1 the name of it? I don't know, let's try and see what this does. And let's see what kind of documentation they have here. Oh, it says archived. It's now read-only. Repository is unmaintained. Maintained actions. Okay, so they are pointing to some different ones. If this comes officially from GitHub, I think I feel safe using one of these. Automatically generate pre-release when changes land on master. Let's use this one. Marvin Pinto. I don't see Marvin's name here. What are the ones they suggest? This is the first one. Logo HR. No, let's just try this. Let's copy and paste this in here, see if we can find it. Added a couple spaces there. Let's fix those. No. Jeez, striking out here. Action GH release. Let's try this one. Action GH release. Alright, I guess we're just going to pick one. Release checks, setup release. GitHub Action, it downloads a release and provision for later job usage. Helps you publish release. Action's cool. Action's cool. That sounds pretty cool. Let's go with this, guys. Okay, runs on Ubuntu latest, make release. Alright, let's copy all this. I don't know if it's going to be able to upload the file, so that's kind of the thing that I'm interested in seeing. So name make release uses that. If GitHub ref type equals tag. we'll leave that there for now. I don't think this is going to work, and this is probably where I'm going to have to cut it. But at least we're in a good spot. Okay, I'm going to commit this, but I won't run it. I'll circle back to this and probably fix it at some point later today. Okay, so thank you all for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Just as a recap of what we did, we're able to get that extra error handling in there to check to see if Git exists on the user's computer before just initializing the repository and warn the user if it doesn't. We also got those flags set up to make sure that we can parse out flags from Git from the command line a little bit easier, and we can specify both the branch name and the output directory, so that's pretty cool. If you're interested in checking the tool out, github.com/bmorrisondev/templify, Templify. Completely open source. You can download it. There's an existing release. I'll have to update the release later with all the changes we just made now. Best way to find channel updates at BrianMMDev on Twitter. Go to my Discord, fullstack.chat. And with that, I guess I'll see everybody next week. I should have a new video dropping tomorrow too, so keep an eye out for that. Have a good one. Bye-bye.